Zealand's top swimmers have one final opportunity to win titles, or even better, qualify for New Zealand teams, which will be selected in the next few hours. It's been an impressive national championship meet, with those expected to qualify for World Championships doing so, and others seemingly on the fringe stepping up to the mark as well. The final session is about to start. Hi everyone, and welcome again to the Owen Glen National Aquatic Centre in Auckland, where we do have that final session of finals at the National Swimming Championships. And last night, Mark, we were a bit despondent, weren't we, because we'd had no additions to the qualifying team after a stunning previous night. But today, the positive news returned. We've got relay teams qualifying. Are there any questions over that?
Look, the only question is the composition of that team and who is going to be in it. So we've got a 4x100 free men's team. We've got a 100 freestyle tonight. That's going to dictate the team. And then there's a women's 4x100 medley relay that have also qualified. And whoever wins the 100 free tonight, they're the people that are going to be in this relay team. So really an exciting night.
We can have a look at the qualifiers to date, and you'll find that nothing much has changed. We've got that one page there with Helena Gasson top and bottom, then Main, Robinson, Stanley, Perry, Farmasili and Ashby. And then on the next page, well, it was all Daniel Hunter for 2 nights by himself, but now the women's 4x100 medley relay and the men's 4x100 freestyle. So let's have a look then at the permutations here. We go into the men's 100 final tonight. The 4 swimmers have qualified for that final, for the relay team. But if someone goes a bit quicker tonight, he could be added to the team.
Yeah, it's a really interesting situation, isn't it? Because you've got all 5 men that have qualified for the World Championships in that 100 free final, and they're so close together. But at the same time, John, there's others in there as well. So you've got the New Zealand record holder, Daniel Hunter, you've got Sam Perry, you've got also Matt Stanley right up there, and Corey Main. So it's, you know, and you can't discount Bradley Ashby, who swum so well at this meet.
Yeah, absolutely. And then these swimmers are all in the final tonight, all 4 of them, plus the likes of Ashby. So it will be a fantastic swim, and I wouldn't be surprised if that New Zealand record goes tonight with the quality of the field there.
Oh, look, if there's 4 of them right up there within a hair's breadth of each other, why wouldn't you expect the New Zealand record? We've already seen some fast swimming, and they're on top of the game. So I would definitely believe that the New Zealand record will go tonight.
All right, looking at the medley relay team, we've already got 3 names in that women's medley relay team, and tonight's 100 final will determine who the freestyler is. So that's the big question mark in tonight's program as we look at it now, and that men's 1500 metres freestyle might get us buzzing early on.
Yeah, Matt Hutchings, he's broken the New Zealand record in the 800 metres freestyle. He needs to do a mark here in the 1500. He represented New Zealand at the Olympics last year in this event, and I think it's within his capabilities. But it's a big ask because he's come back from America and he's in, been on a taper for a while.
All right, and we end up with a couple of relays. And of course, as I mentioned, that women's 100 freestyle, the men's 100 freestyle, some stunning races tonight. I think we'll go out with a bang here tonight. And also banging around tonight on poolside will be Ian Jones along with Lauren Boyle. Hello, Ian.
Banging? I'm not sure about that, John, but I know myself and Lauren Boyle will be having plenty of fun, as we've done all week here on Sky Sports poolside. And Lauren's sizable squad looks like it's going to be joining in Budapest for the World Champs. Individual sport like swimming, it must be great though to have teammates around you.
Yes, it definitely makes a big difference when you've got teammates standing up in the stands cheering for you while you're racing. So it's fantastic. These swimmers will have support from their teammates over there.
Now there's going to be plenty of cheering for one race in particular tonight, which is the men's 100 free, the glamour sport or glamour event at any swim meet. And the potential for 4, maybe 5 of our swimmers going under 50 seconds.
Yes, there were 4 of them under 50 seconds this morning in the heat. So if someone else could do that too, it would be extremely exciting for swimming in New Zealand.
Yeah, these men just drive each other on and on. Also a sport, an event you know so well, the 1500 freestyle for men and women tonight. We're going to have a chance through that race to get your expertise. But just an overview, what tactics do people take into that race?
Well, I do love watching a 1500, especially when I don't have to swim it. For me, I always like to build the race, so going from easy to fast at the end. You have to come back hard in that race.
Well, there you go, John. I know you want to get the last night of swimming underway. We're going to have a chance, as we just mentioned there, right throughout the 1500s, to talk to Lauren Boyle, get her tactics as the race unfolds, what they meant to do, whether they break it down into 500s, 15 100s or 30 50s. But Lauren Boyle will tell us exactly that. So plenty more from her soon, but you right now.
Yeah, thanks Ian and Lauren. And yes, we are looking forward to Lauren's expertise in those long races. It's a long time to swim and it's a long time to talk too, particularly as we find sometimes in the 1500s it becomes one person out there swimming ahead of the rest, and it becomes just a battle against the clock mark, doesn't it, sometimes in those 1500 races.
Absolutely, but to be fair, so many of them train like that as well.
Yes.
Because, you know, when you're a distance swimmer, you have to do so much more mileage than the other people in the event. I'm not sure if you really go from easy to hard, but as Lauren indicated, I'm sure she's never gone out easy, finished hard, but it's going to be exciting.
Para event starts again, and really we've had some sensational swims by our para swimmers over the last 5 nights, and we have some of our leading competitors here. We've got some Paralympians here, others who are just emerging that we haven't seen before, so the depth is obvious here. 8 swimmers in the 100 meters freestyle. There's a mix of classifications here, and we'll have a look at these swimmers as they line up. So going through from S6 to S14, and then with, of course, the S6 through 8 and 9 being physical impairment, and the S14s being intellectual impairment. Here we have a man standing, or about to stand, in lane 4, Chris Arbuthnot, who's a classy swimmer. He's had a very good meet, hasn't he?
An extremely good meet. He holds the New Zealand record in this 100 freestyle with a 1:00.10. Mind you, he's going to be pushed all the way by Jesse Reynolds, same classification.
And they've had some good tussles already. Also there, Tama Solowuta in lane 6. So this is the men's 100 meters freestyle, and mix of classifications here. And one swimmer you must keep an eye on is in lane 3, David Beck from Mount Albert. He had a fantastic finish to his 200 last night, a big sprint over the last 25, and he's up there and level with Chris Arbuthnot at the moment. So Beck in lane 3, Arbuthnot in lane 4. Arbuthnot in the centre though, heading to the wall in first place. This is the men's 100.
Well, Beck holds the New Zealand record for his classification S14 with a 1:02.74. Now 29.06 is a pretty good split as we see them go through the first 50 metres.
So Arbuthnot in the centre. He's leading.
He's looking great too, isn't he?
Finishing strongly and challenging, but not getting within arm's reach really of Arbuthnot is Jesse Reynolds, Tama Solowuta as well. And then over in lane 3 at the top of your screen there, that is David Beck. And it will be Arbuthnot who touches first. You'll keep an eye on that time for us, Mark. In lane 5 it was Jesse Reynolds, then David Beck, I think third, yes, and Solowuta touching in 4th place. So you see a complete mix there of classifications up at the top. You just see Hamish McLean, who's an S6 from Wanaka.
Interestingly, both Chris Arbuthnot just outside his own New Zealand record, as was David Beck, finishing in 3rd position, only a fraction of a second, but still, it's great to see them back in their personal best form. Great start, great balance. I like the way Arbuthnot went out there, very hard and aggressive. And he said to the others, if you want to beat me, you got to chase me, and they just didn't get anywhere near at them.
He's in very good form. He looks confident, he talks confidently, and he swum with confidence here tonight. Opening the final session of finals, he wins in 1:00.545. Chris Arbuthnot, Jesse Reynolds 2nd, David Beck 3rd. They were the first 3. And finishing in lane 1, and that's the young man from Wanaka. We saw him first up a couple of years ago. He's been off to Rio. He's a very talented young swimmer. Hamish McLean, he's with Ian.
Yeah, thanks very much, John. Well, Hamish McLean swimming out of the Wanaka Swimming Club. We've seen your progression over the last couple of years, but firstly, I want to talk about you now being an Olympian and that experience in Rio.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. It's good fun in Rio, great experience, great atmosphere over there. Swam well as well, and it was just good fun to get out there and see all the competition out there.
Yeah, Hamish, we often see big events like the Olympics, or here the New Zealand Opens are very inspirational for swimmers. Is that what you found in Rio? You came back even more fired up to swim?
Yeah, it just encourages me to push on to the later on meets, later on in the year in my swimming career, just to push on, see how I go.
Well, I must say you're looking in great shape. You're swimming very well. What's your training based on at the moment? What are you focusing on?
I'm just focusing on the basics, really, just getting the technique right, all that kind of stuff, and then just amping it up to get faster.
And we all know, everyone here appreciates how tough a sport it is. You're smiling, you're still loving it.
Yeah, great fun. Loving it still.
Thank you, Hamish.
Cheers.
And I think he plays the bagpipes as well, so his breathing technique will be fine. He'll have plenty of air there. That's Hamish McLean. Nice to hear from him as a competitor for New Zealand at the Para Games in Rio last year, as was the woman we just saw in front of our PA, Terry. Hello, Terry, down there. This is Sophie Pascoe getting ready for the next race. That's Sophie Pascoe in the 100 free, swimming out of lane 4. Multiple world record holder, multiple Para Games gold medalist. Just absolutely fantastic. We can't say enough about her, and so we stop, really. She's qualified for the World Championships already, and she'll be New Zealand's representative there in Mexico at the Para World Championships. So she swims out of lane 4.
Just flicking back to Hamish McLean, he finished 7th at the Paralympics in the 400 metres freestyle, but Sophie Pascoe, who we're looking at in lane number 4, a world record in the 200 individual medley at the Paralympics. In the 200 medley, she was also a gold medalist in the 100 backstroke and the 100 butterfly. Finished with a silver in this event, the 100 freestyle over in Rio.
Other Olympians there, or Paralympians, Rebecca Dubber and Tupo Nayufi. Yes, Pascoe. And you'll notice in that list Jane Fox. Is Jane there? She's lining up there in lane 3, so she'll be swimming on the other side, the right-hand side of Sophie Pascoe. And we heard Jane was interviewed last night. She was fantastic. She's an S14 classification.
So Rebecca Dubber, who was in lane number 2, she was 4th. A bronze in the 100 backstroke in Rio and a 4th place in the 400 freestyle.
And Tupo in lane 5 was 7th in the 100 back, so making the final there in Rio. So big opportunity. We're seeing some of the real stars of international para swimming here. Different classifications. Sophie Pascoe in S10. Now the numbers working from 1 through to 10. The higher the number, what is regarded as the least impairment. So we have Pascoe as an S10, and she is really taking off again. Quite stunning form, isn't she?
She'd have to be one of the most recognisable faces in New Zealand sport at the moment. 29.9 through the heats this morning. She's gone out in 29.3, so a little bit faster. She holds the New Zealand record at 59.77. That's not going to go tonight. Well, I don't think it'll go tonight. She's just really back into her training and starting to prepare for those World Championships.
Tupo Nayufi, we see to the right of Pascoe. She's in 2nd place. You can see her to the left of your screen now. And it's all Sophie Pascoe, though, in lane number 4. And we've seen this so many times over the years. Touching the wall, time to stop and turn and have a look at the board if she wants to. She hasn't bothered about that. Now she does. Just checks it up. And it'll come up her time there. 101.43. And now we see Nayufi, and that's Jane Fox finishing in 3rd place. And Olivia Upson of Parnell next. Rebecca Dubber. And then Melissa Donoghue and Kate McKelvey.
Great news for Jane Fox. She just broke the New Zealand record for the S14 category. The old record she held at 117.83. Well, she's gone a 115.11. So a fantastic effort by Jane Fox. Congratulations to her.
That's absolutely every record, every personal best is so well received. That's what the swimmers come here to do. They keep on saying it. When I get to the Opens, I need to set a personal best, and she's done that.
You'll notice the ritual that Sophie Pascoe goes through before any race. It's the same, and that's the sign of a great swimmer. You don't change it. You go through that same ritual, and she performs to the best ability that she is of the ability right now. She's in heavy training, as we said, but the results there, Sophie Pascoe and a New Zealand record for Jane Fox.
That's the second of our events tonight. 2 para swims over 100 metres freestyle. You've seen some of the best we've got, some of the best internationally as well. And they'll be cropping up again later on. And one, of course, the most recognised international para swimmer in the world, really, is this woman here. I don't need to tell you who it is, and she's with some bloke, Ian. Hello, Ian.
Hello, John. So for the end of a busy week for you, how do you sum up your week at the New Zealand Opens?
It's not quite finished yet. I've got the 50 fly after this, but look, it's been a really good week. I've only actually had 5 weeks of solid training. This is my first meet since Rio, so the times that I'm doing it all within 1% of my PB, so that was the goal coming into this meet, and I've stuck to that.
And like some of the other para swimmers, you have elected to go to the World Champs, so that's your real focus?
Yeah, that's obviously in Mexico at the end of the year in September, so that'll be a challenge in itself because it's in altitude, so new challenge, obviously trying to race at altitude will be different.
You did so brilliantly well in Rio. How have you dealt with the pressures or expectations or just building yourself up to that level again?
Well, like I said, coming into this week, I've put the pressure of obviously having to stay within 1% of my PB, and with only 5 weeks of solid training, that's a pretty big pressure to put on myself. And yeah, there's the obviously outside pressures that you have, but the pressures that I put on myself are extraordinarily high, and that's how Rolly and I become very successful.
And also spending a bit of time with those Crusader boys, I hear.
No, it's good to be able to watch the rugby. I'm really enjoying it. It's back on, so yeah, go the Crusaders.
Did she answer that the way you expected, Ian? I'm not sure. Sophie Pascoe, yeah, that's great performance with just 5 weeks build-up, and she's first meeting since Rio, and she has been busy. I mean, she's had the accolades, and she's had a lot to do afterwards, and, you know, the expectations are high, and she's met them.
Oh, and every sponsor wants to use her, and there's just commitments everywhere. And she said, you know, it's just part of the parcel of it. It's part of how she has to be professional to meet all of those commitments.
Nathan Capp, 15 minutes, 15.50 New Zealand record. Sun Yang, the world record of 14.31. Gosh. And of course, he's been into controversy, of course.
Yeah, I'd certainly question
over the years. Swam out of Brisbane for a while, out of Queensland, trained over there, but then question marks appeared. But here is a starting lineup with most of the attention centred on Matthew Hutchins swimming in lane 4. And the swimmers either side of him too, I believe. Michael Mincham and Wesley Roberts, who's a visitor. He trains in New Zealand but is swimming for the Cook Islands. Zach Reed has also swum well at in the 800 free, where he was second. And so there are others there, but this man who set a New Zealand record in the 800 metres a couple of nights ago and looked disappointed because he didn't go as fast as he expected or hoped to. But it was a great workout, I think, for this, and he's acknowledged that as well. Michael Mincham.
This young man had showed so much progress and talent, and we just haven't quite seen it now since he's reached the international ranks and also outside of the age group levels. But it'll be interesting to see what he does in this 1500.
1500, 15 minutes plus. That's for the ones who touch first. So the 1500 metres for men, with the man in the middle, Matthew Hutchins, a 22-year-old, out of the States, but representing his old club, Wharanui. Went to the Rio Olympics last year. He has already won the 200 and 400 metres freestyle and the 800 in a New Zealand record time. But this is the one that means the most to him. He has concentrated on 15s, is looking to reach that qualifying standard, which he's quite capable of doing.
Yeah, I believe he is. Look, the difficulty here is that he had to taper for the NCAAs over in the States, where your club program insists, and he's at the University of Wisconsin, insists that he's got to be in the best shape. And then he's had to travel back to New Zealand and acclimatise back here and get ready for these national championships. So he's gone from 25-yard racing suddenly into a 50-metre pull. Now, just notice the experience of him. He's not going out there really hard. He's just sitting back in there, tucking in, knowing that he just needs to go through this first 100, and it's about a 58 for Matthew Hutchins, and I think that's a smart way. The others have gone out in a bit faster in a 57, possibly a little bit too fast. I think if you look at it overall, when we put it all together at the very end, Hutchins has probably swum the smarter race. Well, over the first 100 metres.
Yes, I was going to say, we probably won't remember this, but This is, we've seen so many 1500 races, and with the greats of the likes of Perkins and Hackett, and the more recent ones, of course, as well. And seldom did you see them go to the front unless it was within their pace that you'd often see others get out a bit quicker, and they just knew the mental clock, the internal clock just works well, and they know exactly what pace they're on. And as Lauren in fact said, you know, she liked to just build and build and then make sure you have something in reserve.
Yeah, look, there's a number of ways of swimming it, and I'm sure that we're going to hear from Lauren about that. A lot of the 1500 swimmers, what they'll do is they will try and break the race up into 3 500 components. The first 500, and then they build that second 500 and then come home hard. In fact, the third 500 generally is faster than what the first 500 is. You got to remember the dive it takes into account the first 500, and the dive is worth 1.5 up to 2 seconds in an event. So you got to use that, and you look at your splits. Matt Hutchins just went through in a 101.9, so you know he needs to hold a pretty even splitting, just under 102 to qualify. The World Championships is 15:38, so if you divide that into 15 100s, it's a
15:12.
Sorry, 15:12.
Yeah,
apologies.
Yeah.
15:12. You know, it's a 101 for each 100, just a little bit under that.
We see the leader still is Wesley Roberts, representing the Cook Islands. He's impressed at these championships as well, with a couple of good placings. As a visitor, of course, he doesn't get a medal, but he has been very impressive. And Hutchins and Mincham, and Mincham's an interesting character, as we know as a younger swimmer. He had showed so much potential, and we like, as happens in all sports, sometimes there's just a plateau period where can't seem to get it. It's like your golf handicap. When you get it down as low as I have, like a 30 handicap, you know, it's hard to go any lower. Now you reach your peak, and to go any faster or play better, sometimes there's a bit of a block there. So we'll see what Mincham can do. He's got great opposition here, someone to target, and that is Hutchins. So he'll be looking at that as well. And then Zach Reed, a 17-year-old from Aquablades, New Plymouth, second in the 800 and third in the 400 free. So that's our leaders at the moment. It is Roberts who comes to the wall again.
I like the stroking that we see here from Roberts. He looks very comfortable as he goes through this. If you have a look, what he does is lean onto more, well, he pulls more strongly on the left arm. He throws it out and just leaves it out in front. He almost drops his elbow as it goes into the water and then pulls through it, and breathing just to his left-hand side. Now, if you have a look at Hutchins as well, he does very similar. Throws the left arm out, it stays out in front, searching for what we call still water, and then pulls very strongly on it. And he's also using one-sided breathing.
Well, we'll continue to watch this, but we've been talking about the para swimmers, and we had those two fantastic races just a few moments ago, the 100 freestyle for men and women, in which we saw some of the top names, not just in New Zealand swimming, but in world swimming. And it's quite a busy year coming up for our para swimmers. As Sophie Pascoe mentioned, she's off to the Worlds, but a lot of the other swimmers are heading into Europe, into Germany in particular. And Ian Jones has now got one of the coaches, Gary Francis, with him, and Gary will be letting us know, I'm sure, exactly what the program is for the para swimmers this year, and how much he's expecting from them. Ian.
Yeah, thanks very much, John. National Development Manager for para swimming is Gary Francis, of course, involved a long time in the swim game. On the back of the para games in Rio, Gary, where is the para program at?
Yeah, well, luckily, Ian, we've got every one of the swimmers who swam in Rio has come back. We've got a few people on a bit of a long sabbatical. Cameron Leslie is just dipping his toes back in the water up in Whangarei. Mary Fisher has been doing a few other things. She did a bit of a triathlon stuff, a little bit of some long distance, some ultra marathons. But she's now back training and back in Wellington with Duncan, a new coach, works with Gary Hollywood at Capital. And everyone else is pretty much back in the water.
Cameron Leslie, of course, has been playing wheelchair rugby, which has been fantastic. Now we know Sophie Pascoe is at the top of the game, glamour girl of para swim, which is fantastic. But it looks like your depth, Gary, is starting to really develop.
I think, Ian, this week we've shown it's the first time we've ever had 2 heats for any event. We've had 9 or 10 athletes in those events, and we've still got a few missing. So, yeah, this has been the target. We need to grow our depth. Our base has got to be bigger. We want to push those top athletes, and now we've actually got, you know, it's unfortunate for some, but they're missing out on finals. That's what we want. We want to grow the competition.
Sophie's off to the world champs. No other swimmer is. Outside of that, what's the focus for para swimming?
Yeah, okay, so this year, we looked at this year as a rebuilding year for all the swimmers. You know, the program and the campaign into Rio was tough on everybody. Sophie's, you know, Sophie always wants to, you know, just keep going hard. She's decided she would like to go to the World, so her program this year is geared for that. She'll go to Mexico, but nobody else is. We already made a decision on that, even though the qualifying is out this week, and some have done times. Most of them are going to go to Berlin in the middle of the year it's a good competition, and then everyone will target Queensland champs at the end of the year. A couple of the lads have qualified for the Com Games. This is a qualifying meet for us, but they've got 2 or 3 other meets during the year to do that, and then we will start to gear up for April 2018 and the Gold Coast.
And just finally, Gary, young swimmers out there have been inspired by what they've seen on TV this week. How do they get into swimming?
Right, well, I mean, if you're a disabled swimmer, contact your local parathed. They'll give you some ideas about where you want to swim, what you can do. If not, contact Paralympics. Our website is pretty comprehensive. There's lots of information on there. Go to New Zealand Swimming, or just go down to your local swim pool, get to your local swim teaching program and get started there. Thanks, Ian.
Yes, indeed, there is plenty of information available, and it's often we hear and have done over the years of youngsters, abled and disabled, who watch a national swim champs or the Olympics or the Commonwealth Games, and that spurs them on and they get into it and then achieve their own goals. And we've seen a bit of a change in the race since while we were listening and watching Gary Francis. It is Roberts still leading, but Mincham almost appeared as if he'd had enough and decided to up the ante a wee bit. But Matthew Hutchings has gone with him, and still there is Zach Reid in 4th place.
Well, Zach Reid's the youngest. He's only 17 years of age. His father represented New Zealand at the 1990 Commonwealth Games for the 200 breaststroke, and also a part of our 4x200 free relay team. So it's lovely to see him out there. But look, this is a really good 1500 with 4 of them right there. Yes, there's 3 almost in a line, and Zach Reid just hanging in there. He's out of camera shot here, but certainly these 3 are going to start pushing each other. Roberts has obviously felt the pinch. He went out a little bit harder. And Mitchum, as you've said, John, quite rightly, is up the tempo, and you can see that he's got a faster stroke rate than the likes of Hutchings there in the red cap. But again, there's not a lot that separates them. They're holding 102s over the 100 metres, each 100.
Well, this might be an advantage to whoever wins this, that there are 4 swimmers there in contention at the moment. And off we saw with Nathan Capp when he set that New Zealand record, he was out by himself basically, wasn't it? It was a solo swim. But so this is almost a rarity for us in a 1500 that we've got 3 or 4 swimmers in there vying for the lead.
Yeah, with a little bit more depth. You'll notice all of them, particularly these 3, they do what they call a catch-up stroke. And if we have a look, particularly Roberts and Hutchings, they leave one hand out in front and the other hand comes over the top and catches it up to the other hand almost. And you see that full catch-up position occurring, in particular the blue cap on the furthest from us, and that is Roberts, and Hutchings as well. We've got Mitchum with a little bit faster stroke rate, not having the same degree of catch-up. But Hutchings is now just upping the tempo. This is the 1,000 metres, so with 2 500 metres gone.
10 turns in 10.20. Roberts 0.43 back, and Mitchum right there as well. And Reid too is not out of the situation. He's about a body length back, but we might see, as we often see in tactically, swimmers will go into a race with their and we might hear from Lauren about this a bit later, but they go in with a tactic in mind, and it might well be that at the 1,000 metres I'm going to go. I'm going to start sending out 60s or whatever the plan is. At a certain time they want to do it, but they still have to be aware of the situation of the race, don't they?
Absolutely, and I'm sure at the back of Hutchings' mind, he knows that he's been on such a long taper coming back from the United States, so he had to be cautious going in, and just the way he's approached this race, he's been very, very cautious. But now he's up the tempo. Mitchum, can he go with him? Roberts, can he also go with him? But I wouldn't discount Zach Reed. He's just tucked in there nicely and playing a really smart race. In fact, if anything, I think he's gained a little bit on those other three.
Right, this is developing into a very interesting race. About 400, didn't even take notice of how far to go. But Ian Jones is standing now with a New Zealand head coach from the USA, Jerry Olszewski. And it'd be interesting to get his views on what's been happening over the last few days.
Yeah, it certainly would, Jerry. Well, we talked to you a couple of days ago and we welcomed you to New Zealand. This is your first taste of a New Zealand Open. What's your observations so far?
I've been pleasantly surprised with a lot of the depth of good swims, and we've had more swimmers qualify for the World Championships than anticipated.
In particular, the medley swimmers, Bradley Ashby, really stepping up to the mark. Karina Gasson did the same in her chosen event. Is that something from a swim coach's point of view, having a medley depth good?
Absolutely. Then they can help your team in so many ways. They can swim different strokes on relays. You can put them in events that are weak, and it gives them a better range to train from also.
Swimming's an individual sport, so individual swimmers out there, but having numbers and depth of numbers going to the Worlds, is that a real positive?
It's a huge positive. You know, it creates a vibe, it creates a team camaraderie. You know that you're swimming for your country. You know you're swimming for your teammates. You know you're swimming, with others in the meet with you, and it makes it easier and more relaxed at the meet to be with your friends.
Now we've got the 1500 going on behind us. It takes 15 minutes, but all of us love the splash and dash. We love the glamour, boys. The 100 metres is going to come up, and 4, maybe 5 swimmers going under 50. Pretty unique in New Zealand swimming.
Absolutely. I guess it's been a long time coming. Most of the time we were really good in middle distance, so for us to see sprinters coming along and some distance kids coming along has been great.
Does that make it a coach that likes to have relay swimmers on your team?
Yeah, it creates a team atmosphere, and that was one of the first things I wanted to do when I came in was create a team atmosphere, training group, so people train together, they make each other work hard, they have somebody to hang out with after practice.
Well, thanks very much, Jerry. We're nearly finished this 1500, so I'll let you finish the watch the end of it. Cheers.
Thanks, Ian. We've gone 13 minutes, coming up to 14 minutes in this race. Hutchins has taken over. Now, Mitchum is working hard again. He's coming back. And Hutchins is smoothly operating here. He's moved into the lead. Not a threatening time, though. What do we look at?
Well, it's not going to be a great time. It's going to be about 15:30 to 15:33, thereabouts. So they'll get the bell at the end of this 100 metres. And it's who's got the best sprint. But boy, it's great to see a race with 4 of them out there. Now just notice the change of kick tempo. It's almost all of them doing a 2-beat kick now, and they'll get the bell, and this is where you'll see the kick tempo starting to occur. It'll change completely, and in particular over the last 50 metres. Immediately we've seen Hutchings just increase his kick tempo. Mitchum is hanging in there, but I'm also really impressed with Roberts from lane number 3. I thought that he would go when they caught him up, but he hasn't gone. He's still, I think, probably in second position.
Yeah, that's been very impressive from him. He went out the fastest. Now, Hutchins now winding into it and heading back for his final 50 in this race. Roberts and Mitchum turning together. Zach Reed not far behind in 4th place. But here's the winner. It's Matthew Hutchins. So representing Whanganui, went to the Olympics last year, was seeking World Championship times this year.
You'll notice that immediately his stroke has changed as he's increased his kick. Nowhere near the same catch-up. Mitchum nowhere near the same catch-up as Mitchum comes back, but it is going to be Hutchings that takes it out.
15:30.6. That's well outside Nathan Capp's national record. And if Hutchins was gunning for that, then he'll be showing a bit of disappointment. But as you've talked about, coming back from the NC3As and swimming in the States, then it's not easy coming back here and doing the distance races in particular. He claps hands with, and there's a good chance to get a good look at Wesley Roberts, who I believe trains in the Bay of Plenty, but is representing Cook Islands here. Michael Mincham, good race from him too.
Yeah, it was a good race from Michael Mincham, and also great for the Cook Islands to have a 1500 swimmer that will go to the World Championships and represent them.
And Zach Reed in 4th place. We're still awaiting a couple of the swimmers to finish. The last of those has 50 metres to go, and that'll be, I think, Paddy Bayliss from Rotorua. Devlin Forsyth of Capital is just finishing up there now. Hamish Trillin is down here. He's ended the race from Capital, and Jackson Dawson from Waterhole is we might not see him. He's just coming in lane 8. Here he goes now. So well done to Jackson Dawson at 18 years of age, and he betters his time from this morning. Oh, and there's Paddy Bayliss now from Rotorua. I'm sorry, that was Devlin Forsyth finishing earlier. They're all home now, and that is the men's 1500 metres.
So as we go into the replay, a very clean start by all 8 swimmers. Very early stages, Wesley Roberts dominating with a full body length advantage over the other 2. Just faded into 3rd in the last 50 metres. But you can see there, Hutchings right out of the picture, a full body length behind. So the Cook Islands swimmer, and then immediately in the latter stages, the last 400, 500 metres, Hutchings started to really push the tempo as well. And that tempo was first of all pushed by Michael Mitchum. Nice breathing pattern there. So we see Hutchings come in to touch and take out the gold.
Well, we go from a big distance race here, won by Matthew Hutchins, and officially 15:30.68. Michael Mincham 15:32, and Wesley Roberts a 15:33. Zach Reed 15:36. So all 4 of them going under 15:40. So that you could sense from there that it was a race between those 4.
And Hutchings came home in the last 100 in a 59 over the last 100.
So we go from that, the longest race here, the 1500 for men, to one of the other glamour events. It is the 100 freestyle. New Zealand record held by Hayley Palmer, 23.91. And here's the lineup with particular interest in Letitia Transom in lane 4 and Gabrielle Falmasili in lane 3. And we must explain, we'll explain to you as we look at the lineup here. You can see there Moynihan and 1, Moran from New Caledonia, Falmasili, Transom, Gasson, Maris, Doyle and Faulkner. Now we have got a medley relay team going to the World Championships. We already have our butterflyer, breaststroker and backstroker. So Bobby Gishard, Helena Gasson, Natasha Lloyd, breaststroker. At the moment, Transom has the fastest time and is the freestyle penciled in. She did a 56.47.
And that was a New Zealand age group record this morning. She beat Sophie Patula's New Zealand record. But look, John, it's quite transparent. Whoever wins this race goes off to the World Champs. Unless it's Gasson.
No, I mean, if someone wins and goes faster than Transom, that's what you've got to look at.
I think they'll take it as the winner tonight, actually, because the team is already qualified. So it'll come down to who can handle the pressure.
Well, Transom in lane 4. Born in New Zealand, lives in Brisbane, goes to Brisbane Grammar. She lines up in 4. Falmasili with a usual strong start, but not getting away any quicker than Transom. Also away well, Gasson. So Gasson is in lane 5. In the centre is Transom in the white cap. On her right is Gabrielle Falmasili.
Well, Falmasili went 28 over the first 50 this morning. Transom went over 27.45. Well, Falmasili is going for it. She wants that spot in the relay team. She has the capability. She's going to turn with a 26.93. That's a very good split. Now, who wants it badly enough? Who wants to go to the World Championships and represent New Zealand in the relay team?
It's 15-year-old Transom in lane 4, 17-year-old Falmasili. And who's this down here?
Karina Doyle doing a great job from the North Shore Swimming Club in lane number 7.
She's out of the picture, but here we see down at second from the bottom, Karina Doyle. But it's Falmasili and Transom. Falmasili, head down, touches first, pips Transom. Doyle third. What a race that was, 55.89. So that does mean with that time, that's the quickest, and that's a fantastic time. That's faster than what Transome went this morning. And so
there's no dispute. Absolutely no dispute.
Fa'amausili will be the freestyler in the medley relay team alongside Natasha Lloyd, Helena Gasson and Bobby Gishard. Of course, that's to be confirmed. We're talking about reaching criteria here at the moment. It won't be confirmed until tomorrow. But
and let's also
what a race. And Fa'amausili, I thought, might have just done her dash with about 25 to go, but she fooled me.
Well, she had another
strength.
gear. She had strength, power, and she found another gear. And that's just a bit of experience from her too. She has had a lot of international exposure now. A New Zealand age group record for Fa'amausili as well. So congratulations, she broke her own New Zealand record, 56.21.
And that's a new record too for Transome. New age
Yes,
group record for her as well. And Karina Doyle, that's a brilliant time from her. In third place, a bit older than the others at 23. And Gasson in fourth place.
But boy, Doyle actually had a great race, and she was an outside smoker, but all of the action was in the middle of the field, wasn't it?
Now the next 8 fastest from this morning's heat come out for the B final, and the fastest of those this morning was Paige Flynn of St Peters, and she swam a 58.07, which was only fractionally slower than Maddie Faulkner, who was the slowest of the qualifiers in that final, so just missing out by 100th of a second. Annabelle Patterson will swim in lane 3, and another of the visitors, May Toven of New Caledonia, 14 years of age. She'll be in lane 5. That's Paige Flynn, we could see. Up at the top of the pool here, Ella Kossel, she was third in the 50 metres backstroke last night. She starts well, but the main action is out in the centre lanes. Annabelle Patterson of United, Paige Flynn. Over the first 50, you would imagine it's going to be Flynn who'll turn in first place. She's looking good in lane number 4. Patterson there as well, and out here is Emma Goodwin.
Well, she's 0.6 of a second faster than when she went through the heats this morning. Quite a high head position that we see from Paige Flynn. Now, that's not necessarily bad, but it does mean that you have a lot of drag going down into your legs, because if your head's up, the rest of the body has to fall, so it has to work harder through the legs. But she's already in a position where she's faster than the 8th position from the heats this morning.
And so too is Annabelle Patterson in lane 3, who's finishing really well. Flynn gets it ahead of Patterson, and Toven in third place from New Caledonia, who finished 4th. That was Emma Godwin, so Godwin will be the 3rd New Zealander, so Flynn wins that.
And Patterson improvement off this morning too, 57.7, 58.0 this morning. Contrasting styles on the start there, all effective. But you can see just the head position there of Paige Flynn, quite high. Of course, when you're a sprinter too, your body naturally comes up a little bit because of the power that you're generating.
B final. Well, this is the big race of the night, really is. We've got 5 qualifiers, male qualifiers for the World Championships, and they're all in this race. And just before the event started tonight, Daniel Hunter had a chat with Lauren Boyle.
Daniel, you train out at the Howick Pakuranga Swim Club with Jana Wilkitsky, but recently you've been doing some gym training out with us at the AUT Millennium facility. What's the reason behind varying your training?
Yeah, I've been working with Stephen for quite a while now, and I really respect his opinion and how he deals with it, with training. He's a really knowledgeable guy, and it's a lot of experience that I can use to my advantage, so it's really awesome.
You've qualified for your first national team and you'll be competing on the world stage for the first time. How do you feel about that opportunity?
Yeah, really excited to show everyone what I got and just make the most of it, learn from it as well. It's a good building block and probably the first stage to build up to Tokyo, so it's a good thing to check off the box.
You seem to be very good at backing up your heats to finals. What do you do between a heat and final to relax?
Yeah, just making sure I'm not stressing out about the race too much. You know, I think you can definitely overthink a race, and so it's good to just be able to go back, relax, and then reset mentally and just, yeah, really focus on it. And I'm really excited to race tonight.
Yes, tonight you have the 100 freestyle and you hold the New Zealand record in that event, so you must be pretty excited to race with a pretty packed field.
Yeah, I think it's one of the biggest fields we've seen in Swimming New Zealand, definitely. 4 guys going sub 50 this morning was pretty awesome to see. And I think that record's definitely going to go down tonight. We'll have to see who gets it, you know. So it'll be first to the wall, and it'll definitely be a race to watch.
We're all very excited about that, and best wishes for this evening.
Awesome. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, here they go. They're all ready to come out now. The field includes Corey Mayne, Sam Perry, Daniel Hunter, Matthew Stanley, Bradley Ashby. They are the 5 males who have qualified for the World Championships to be held in Budapest in July, and they're all in this one race. What a stunning lineup.
Yeah, really excited by this race, and you know, as we've said right from the beginning tonight, it's also relay teams, so spots, so it's a lot to swim for, and a New Zealand record if they have the chance to do so.
So lanes 3 through to 6 this morning, all those went under 50 seconds. They all produced a time which equated to bettering the qualifying standard. So New Zealand has a men's freestyle relay team in there. They are the 4 names that are already in there. If someone else finishes with a really blistering time out of the rest, then they might be in the relay team instead. But this team has qualified through the efforts of Mayne, Perry, Hunter and Stanley.
John, what I like about this team, this whole final too, is for the first time we see all 20-year-olds and above in terms of their ages, apart from the one visitor from New Caledonia.
Yep, Florent Yanin of New Caledonia in lane 1. Julian Weir is in 2. And Jonathan Rutter, who was 3rd in the 200 IM a couple of nights ago from Roskilde, he's in lane 8. So look, Stanley in 6, Hunter in 5, Perry in 4, Mayne in 3. Hunter is the national record holder, 49.43.
Expect a 23 low for the first 50.
Whew. Hold your seats. One of the classiest 100-metre freestyle fields we've had in New Zealand, and they are in a line as they hit the water in this grand final. 4 of them have qualified New Zealand, a relay team at the World Championships. Who's going to be the best out of this lot? Daniel Hunter has the lead at the moment. He's in lane 5. Look at that time. Are we going to get a New Zealand record?
Oh boy, Daniel Hunter's really going for a 23.5. Not as fast as what I thought he would have gone through the first 50 metres. A fantastic turn there from Matthew Stanley in lane at number 6. I thought he was really impressive. Daniel Hunter still holding on. Don't discount any of the others. You could put a line across them. Matt Stanley.
Lane 5, Daniel Hunter. Lane 6, Matthew Stanley. Hunter eyeballs him, but watch out over in lane 3, Corey Mayne. Oh, who's going to get it? It is Stanley. Touches out Hunter, and Mayne is in 3rd place. And that is I think that's an upset. Hunter was certain, we thought, would be the man. He's the New Zealand record holder, and he's in such great nick. But out of the blue, really, comes Matthew Stanley, who did a 49.84 this morning. What's he done tonight? A 49.59. 49.59, that's the second fastest time of the meet. And he was eyeball to eyeball with Daniel Hunter.
Well, if you have a look at Sam Perry, who finished in 4th, top qualifier, lane 4, 49 this morning, 50.0 in this final. And that's the pressure of the final. Here he is, Sam Perry, who finished in 4th. Beautiful entry into the water, but it was excellent first 50 metres by Daniel Hunter. but it was the turn off Matthew Stanley, and then they were eyeballing each other, as you've said. And really, I thought Hunter had this. He was in front. It was all about timing, and you just see how Stanley kept his head down, and the momentum carried himself forward. Look at the surge of that water off the
and I think Hunter
ends of the walls.
He knew his finish wasn't spot on, didn't he? He looked, his stroke would have hit the wall first, except that it was the timing. He made the stroke first.
Timing and also better body position of Stanley.
Yeah. So it is Matthew Stanley who wins it from Hunter, Main, Perry, Ashby, Weir, Rutter and Yanin of New Caledonia. The champion is Matthew Stanley. And he's downstairs. I couldn't see him. He's downstairs with Ian.
Congratulations, Matt. Experience, hunger, desire. I don't know what it was, but that last 10 metres, I think you really dug it in.
Yeah, it was an awesome close race, and so good having 4 guys that are capable of going fast times in the 100 free. Hasn't been like that for maybe 8 years or so really happy to come away with the win.
Well, all of you going under 50 seconds during the day, which is fantastic, which leads to a relay team, which you must be super excited about.
Yeah, relays are such an awesome way to come together as a team, and I just love doing them.
Well, you don't often swim. I know New Zealand swimming anyway, a 4x100 men's at the Worlds, and I mean, it's an individual sport, and you're very focused individually on your own race, but to come together, represent New Zealand as a team, I mean, that'll be something special as well.
Yeah, well, it definitely picks everyone up, and having that group bond and team culture really helps.
Well done, mate. It was wonderful to see, and your granddad's here, and he's pretty happy too, I think.
Yeah, hopefully the family's stoked with that one.
It'll be hard not to stay for this one. There's the finish there, and splits. Well, I haven't seen the times.
Yeah, look, the underwater, it showed everything. It showed the body position that we were talking about, and the fact that he kept his momentum going forward, and that was the significant difference between winning and losing.
Well, it was an outstanding race, and people were looking forward to seeing it. Well, you've seen it now, everyone, and the national champion is Matthew Stanley. Daniel Hunter was second. I can't recall the times. I can't recall who was third in that. Was it Perry or Main? Main, I think. Main, it was, certainly, I remember now.
Corey Main.
So the 100 freestyle A final has gone. We have the B final now. And in this, there's some fast swimmers as well, with Wildrick Coetzee, Bailey Main, Jackson Kropp is there, Lewis Klerbert. Coetzee swam a 51.94 this morning.
Well, Lewis Klebert's already had 2 New Zealand age group records over this meet, so he's had after an outstanding national age groups.
B final, men's 100. So watch for Coetzee coming out fast better over on the far side. Sam McKenzie looked good actually from Tasman in lane 1. Chris McFadden in 2. Klerbert of Capital in 3. And then we come back to Coetzee and Bailey Main. And down this side, Kune Coetzee in lane 8 and Kirtland Ellis in 7.
Well, Bailey Main notoriously goes out extremely hard over the first 50 metres, and he's done exactly that. He turns first. In fact, it is Coetzee, only 0.05 of a second, but Bailey Main very good under the water as well in lane number 5. And that's the experience out of the United States, trains out of Florida.
Well, it's in fact Kune Coetzee who turned first. A big finish now from Bailey Main, and it is going to be in the centre there. Yep, Bailey Main gets it, and McKenzie, who looked good over the first 50, finishes in second place up in the top of your screen in lane number 1. Victory to Bailey Main. So what happened to shaving down? Have we worked out that having whiskers now doesn't slow you down at all?
No, definitely not. Look, this is not his favourite event, and you know, he knows that he's just doing the 100 freestyle for a bit of enjoyment. But he swum it extremely well. I was really impressed with his turn, and just again have a look at the way he finishes. Keeps that body down. See how it's under the water and he surges into the water. It's not resistance. The more he stays on top of the water, the more resistance he's going to have. So Ballymane, good result, 51.23. 52.05 this morning. Great result from Sam McKenzie.
Yeah, very good result, 51.93.
17-year-old from Tasman. Lewis Clarebird, as we said, already 2 New Zealand age group records at these national championships. In the 200 freestyle, in fact, he beat Daniel Loader's national age group record for 17 years. And also the New Zealand age group in the record in the 400 IM.
Well, we've got more swimming coming up for you very soon. That'll keep these spectators interested, and you at home too, but a chance to just switch off for a moment. Don't go too far. Sophie Pascoe. You're watching the final night of finals here at the National Swimming Championships at the Sir Owen Glenn National Aquatic Centre in Auckland, where we've had a couple of brilliant 100-metre finals, men and women. More to come, though. Let's have a look at that program that's in store for you. We're starting with 50-metre sprints and breaststroke for both men and women. Then para mixed 50 metres butterfly. Then the women's 1500 freestyle. Finishing up with the 4x100 medley relays for women and men, and that will complete the program for the 2017 championships. Well, if we have a look at what we've seen so far, Mark, I think if people have just joined us, the fact that we've got relay teams going to the World Championships is very positive, and the fact that we've got a couple of sort of new faces coming in that medley team too, you know, so that's really good.
Yeah, and new team captains will have to be found as well, and I think that's exciting for them. Look, one of the hardest things is when a team goes away and it's a small team, you feel intimidated, and they're going to have a depth in the team. I mean, if you do the quick numbers with relay teams, probably 12, 13 swimmers, without naming them, just all of them, it's probably 12 or 13, and that's a big team for a New Zealand team. We went into this meet, and I sort of thought, oh, maybe 4 will make the team.
Yeah.
You know, and we were pretty excited when there was 8 that have been through with the relays up to 13, so it is going to be great.
All right, well, para swimmers, we've seen a lot of them, and some of the results that we've had, an Oceania record from Sophie Pascoe, 12 national records. So Kelvin Edwards, a couple of those, Tama Solowuta and David Beck, So they've really stood up. And Jane Fox, as we mentioned, a couple of records. One of those we saw earlier tonight. Sophie Pascoe and also David Beck and Nikita Howarth too. So we've seen records coming from not just our big names such as Nikita Howarth and there's Sophie Pascoe, Chris Arbuthnot, Jessie Reynolds, but others, new faces here. So they've done exceptionally well. And we congratulate them with Commonwealth Games qualifying standard performances. Now women's 50-metre breaststroke final. Gosh, Zoe Baker, that record set in 2005.
John, interestingly, no Natasha Lloyd. Now, she's jumped on a plane and headed back to the United States just to get into her training. And she had great news going into the airport, being named in the New Zealand team to go to the World Championships and as part of the 4x100 medley relay, swimming the 100 breaststroke. So she'll be absolutely delighted. It's just, I guess, in some ways a disappointment that she's not going to be here in this 50 breaststroke.
Yeah, but she went with a big smile on her face, and we've seen the reactions too from the others who've been told that they're in that relay team. So we've got Kiara Smith from North Wave. She was second in the 100 and the 200 breaststroke here. So fronting up in the centre lane. Brona Ryan is the title holder from Porirua, and she was third in the 100.
She'll be hard to beat. She's a real good sprinter.
Yeah. Kaylee Jackson from Jazzy is in lane 3 on the other side of the centre swimmer Kiara Smith. Now we've also got Ellie Eastwood, who was second in the 400 IM, Claire Burgess, Kaylee Jackson, Mary Tate, who was third in the 200 IM, Clara Foster and Cassie Wright in swimming in lane 8. 50 metres. Very good start from Ryan, swimming out of lane 5. And she does hit the front initially. We'll see what sort of impact Kiara Smith can make, and also Jackson, Mary Tate as well. But Brona Ryan holds the lead at the moment.
That was an excellent start. It seemed like an eternity for her to break out from the pull-out, but she's looking very strong. Brona Ryan, as we said, she is the title holder.
Kayla Jackson in lane 3, also finishing strongly, but Brona Ryan gets to the wall, takes it and wins it again. The title holder retains her title. Brona Ryan from Porirua is the champion over 50 metres breaststroke, and her time to be
32,
confirmed.
32, I think it was.
So the national record stays around and probably will do for some time. That 31.21 of Zoe Baker. It's been there for 10, 12 years already.
Was the world record at that stage as well.
Yes, that's right. Brona Ryan, 32.32. So that's quite a bit faster than she went this morning. So she's bounced back well after a good heat. And she takes the title yet again.
So there's the start. Great height on Brona Ryan. You can see gets the height, gets a good entry into the pool. And this is the mid-section of the 50 metres. So the turnover is so important in the 50 breaststroke.
That always looks good in slow-mo, doesn't it?
Oh, it's great photography, isn't it?
Yeah. We see that again. And here we go, the women's 50-metre breaststroke B final. Marina McCartney of Aquagym steps up here, yes, in lane 4 from Aquagym. Lucy Gordon of Jazzy in 3. Hannah Ferguson in 2 from Howick Pakuranga. Emily Whitehead in 1. We come down to lane 5, and that's Kirsten Fisher-Masters, Alice Sedgedin, Tori McTeague, and Marina Sedgedin. 2 United sisters there. One's 15 and the other's 13 in lanes 6 and 8, but this is McCartney. 35.04 this morning.
26-year-old McCartney as well, from Aquagym in Christchurch.
It's Kirsten Fisher-Masters we saw alongside her in the pink. Two good starts out of lanes 4 and 5. And also in lane 3, that's Lucy Gordon of Jazzy. This is the B final, the women's 50-metre breaststroke.
Yeah, Gordon looks really good from the Jazzy club in the blue cap. Third from our far side of the screen. But now all the action is coming back into the middle of the pool.
That's very tight, this. Lane 3, Lucy Gordon. Down here too, Ella Sedgidon. It's going to be tight between 3 and 6, is it? Let's see who gets there. It's Lucy Gordon gets there in lane 3. And Alice Sedgidon in lane 6 is second according to the board here, and Emily Whitehead up in lane 1.
That was all about timing of the touch, and Sedgidon just didn't have that momentum going in, and that's why Lucy Gordon, she was being beaten but actually sneaked through. So great start. We see Sedgidon in lane number 6. The Aquagym swimmer McCartney. At this stage, Gordon on that shot was just a bit far away, but what a great timing into the wall. See again, underwater, and the acceleration that she had, no resistance.
Well, I thought actually that Alice Sedgidon was a woman I was sort of pointing at as we were watching. It looked like she had the worst of the starts, and yet she comes up and finishes second. But mind you, my eyesight's no good, as you know. Lucy Gordon wins it, the B final. Now we have the men's A breaststroke final. Glenn Snyders, of course, retiring last year at Rio.
I think it's his birthday today, if my memory serves me correctly.
Might be too, actually.
So happy birthday to Glenn, who's living now in California. Got married straight after the Olympics.
Living a normal life now.
There's no such thing as that, John, once you're married.
There we have the lineups there with Rutter, Leighton, Phillips, Albarazzi, Garrod, Va'atua, Monda and Trelin. Azad Albarazzi is from Syria. He's 29 years of age.
He looked really good in the first 50 over the 100 breaststroke of Arazzi, and Shaquille Va'atua will also be dominant, I think, in this 50 breaststroke. He's such a beautiful stroke technician.
He's quite a big man, isn't he?
He's huge.
Azad, yeah. Standing in lane 5, Jacob Garrod. Just waiting, calming, going through that mental routine now. The sound of the whistle gets him to the blocks. The switch on. Glenn Snyders, the title holder. New Zealand record holder at 27.06. Wow, that man, Albarazzi, is very powerful off the blocks. Look to Shaquille Va'atua from Howard Pakuranga. She's very well in lane number 6. Excellent start from him. They hit the 25.
Oh, look at the power, though, from the Syrian. Just amazingly well built, and the power that he's getting out of both his legs and his arms, and the tempo.
Matthew Phillips looks across at him. Can't quite reach him, though. Phillips will finish in second place, and Jacob Garrod finishes in third. And the fourth person, Julian Leighton, who will be the third New Zealander. But they're all behind this man. Very impressive. Azad Albarazzi, visitor, done a bit of training here. But his start, the power, big thighs, powerful man.
Well, all breaststrokers have amazing power out of their thighs, and you have to. You'll notice how he gets right up and he keeps his hands almost out of the water the whole time. Doesn't let them go down deep whatsoever. And bang, his acceleration into the finish. Incredible.
Good technique there. Albarazzi in 28.41. Matthew Phillips at 29.02. I think that might be a personal best for Phillips. Garrod in 29.09. Then Leighton in fourth place. The men's breaststroke, 50 metres. So the B final now. Gosh, looking at that world record, Adam Peaty, what someone to watch, isn't it? Even if you don't like breaststroke, watching him, he's just extraordinary, isn't he?
I thought you were going to say if you don't like the British. No, he's a beautiful breaststroker, and he's just annihilated the world records, hasn't he? In fact, it's interesting, breaststroke, world records in breaststroke have probably dropped down more so in the last 10 years than any other stroke. And that's for a combination of a number of swimmers.
It's the starting lineup there for the B final. And North Shore's Callum Prime, at 17 years of age, will line up alongside in lane 5. We'll see in a moment Max Kennedy Till from United. There we are. He might just say that's my best side, I'm not sure. His mother will be complaining. Well, family members say, all we saw was a back. Why can't we see his face? Have you got something against him? Anyway, if you win this, Max will be certainly in your face. Callum Prime in lane 4. He starts well. They all do. Long and big pull under the water. You can see it so clearly. And then into his work, Max Kennedy Till in lane 5. And Dan Caldwell of St. Peter's also. Caldwell looking good over the first 25 in lane 6.
Oh, Caldwell looks great in lane number 6 in the blue cap from the St. Peter's Club.
Inside him, though, the others start to take over. Callum Prime in lane 4 surges towards the end. He gets it. Kennedy Till is second, and Elliot London Moore in lane 3.
Gosh, Callum Prime timed that extremely well.
Are we in his face? Are we in his face? There we are. There's his face to the left there. That's Max. There we are, Max. Max Kennedy Till, second in the men's B final. Yeah, he should be yahooing too. Callum Prime, he did not have that race won at 25, did he?
No, he did not. So focusing on the United swimmer, Max Kennedy Till, but it was beautifully finished and beautifully timed Callum Prime to win the B final of the men's 50 metres breaststroke.
And a happy young man. It's nice to see them relax. That B final sometimes produces that too. In fact, you sometimes see some outstanding personal bests out of B finals. Callum Prime, Max Kennedy Till, and Elliot London Moore. The hyphens have it. So that's our final breaststroke event now. The men's A and B finals have been swum and won. Now we're looking at the 50 metres butterfly multi-class para swim. So just the 3 swimmers competing. I've got well, we've heard from a couple of these tonight already. There's Hamish McLean. He'll be swimming out in lane 7. I like the way they keep the men and women separated by an empty lane, don't they? Every time we have these mixed races, there's always a gap between the men and the women. You know,
I'm not sure what you're implying.
I don't know why they do it, really. But anyway, that's... And one of the... Keep at a safe distance.
Well, traditionally you only swim against your own sex, and so you have a male's race and a female's race. Obviously there's not enough depth in this event, so that they are mixing them, and that's exactly what they are doing, is just showing that yes, there is a separation, and here's the females, here's the males. But this is the class of Sophie Pascoe. She holds the New Zealand record at 28.38.
This is Melissa Donoghue, yes.
So she'll be chasing the New Zealand record, which is 54.88. Interestingly, John, she's come in really early every day and warmed up. And the reason for that is that she's so diminutive and small that she just doesn't want to be bashed around by all the big swimmers. And there's nothing of her. Not a bad move.
This is the mixed para. That's a 50 metres butterfly. 2 women, Sophie Pascoe in S10 category, and Melissa Donoghue at S6, and Hamish McLean S6. The young man swimming in lane number 7.
I just keep talking about Sophie Pascoe, just so beautifully balanced, so extremely well coached with Rolly Creighton, and the combination between them, but also her attention to detail in every facet, both in the pool and out of the pool.
Well, we heard Hamish McLean talking about how he's working on technique at the moment. He went to the Olympics, the Paralympics, and here goes Hamish finishing now, and his time 37.05. And now Melissa Donoghue, who went in with a time of 56.37, and we'll see if she's going to get that record time. Have we got a
54.88? It is.
Yeah, good, very good. So that is national record.
Yes, it is. Is that right? 53.32.
53.32, yeah, so by 3 seconds.
Yep. 1 second.
Oh, sorry.
1.5.
Oh, she did a 56 this morning, so she'd done faster than that previously. That's right.
So a new New Zealand record for the S6 category.
Sophie Pascoe, S10, just reaffirming that S10 is the number given to a swimmer with the less impairment. S6, Melissa Donahue, obviously more of a physical impairment, and Hamish McLean the same. So we've had a few medal ceremonies. We don't show them to you as they're happening live, but we do make sure that you see them. And here we have some of the earlier ones from today. Chris Arbuthnot winning that men's para swim. Sophie Pascoe winning the second of those. And then we had the 1500 metres, Matthew Hutchins winning that earlier tonight. We've still got some races to come. The excitement of relays preceded by the women's 1500. That's next.
This is the victory ceremony for event number 35, the men's 100 metres freestyle. The name of the game is being presented by Lauren Boyle. And the winner of the bronze medal, representing Howard Takaranga, Corey May. The winner of the silver medal, also representing Howard Takaranga, Daniel Hunter. And the winner of the gold medal in the 2017 New Zealand Champion in a time of 49.59 seconds, representing
So we're back here at the Owen Glen National Aquatic Centre as the 2017 National Swimming Championships enter their final stages. We've got 3 events to come, and one of those is the women's 1500 metres freestyle. And to let you know that as well as Mark Bone here, we've got Lauren Boyle, an ace swimmer, of course, in this event. She'll be giving us some great detail, and then we end up with those 2 relays. Already tonight we've had some sensational races, particularly those 100 metres. So the 1500 metres is to come up, and one of those who'll be racing in this is Monique King, and she's had a chat already with Lauren Boyle.
Monique, how have you found coming back to New Zealand after spending some time in the US?
It's been really good. I wasn't really sure what to expect, but yeah, it's been really good and really fun.
And where are you training at the moment?
I'm at Northern Arizona University in Flagstaff.
That's a high altitude university, I remember. How is training at altitude?
Yeah, it's 1,800 meters, so it's a lot different to being here. It took a little while to get used to it, but yeah, I think it's been really good.
Do you find having trained at high altitude you have a larger aerobic capacity when you come back to sea level?
Yeah, because it's my first time back, I wasn't too sure how it would go, but yeah, I definitely feel a difference coming back.
Tonight you have the longest race, the 1500. Do you think that kind of extra base will help you?
I think so. I'm going in and seeing what's going to happen, but yeah, it should be good.
And in comparison to an 800, how would you describe the 1500?
I think it's definitely a lot harder, a lot longer, but yeah.
Just nice to get to the end, I bet.
Yeah, very good feeling. Yeah.
And that's your last event for this competition?
It is, yeah.
Awesome. Good luck for tonight.
Thank you.
So Monique King, yes, she'll be defending her title here tonight in the women's 1500 metres. She won it last year, but as she mentioned to Lauren, she's been training, of course, in the States. And it's always of interest to see how those swimmers coming back from the States handle it. And she said it's been fun, but what's the transition, the problems with the transition, Mark?
Oh, look, you know, coming from altitude too, coming down, you've got it's for the first time that she's done altitude training as well. It's always a risk, and I think you get a cumulative benefit from altitude training the more times you do it as well. So she will be, you know, very much testing whether or not the time coming back has been enough or has it not been enough. And I guess we'll know that a little bit throughout this 1500. Of course, Lauren Boyle didn't swim in the 1500 last year because it was a non-Olympic Games event. The women's don't swim the 1500, the men do. So the 800 is the longest event at the Olympics for females.
Right, and we must tell you too that while we'll be talking about the swimmers who've reached qualifying standards for the World Championships, we've got to stress that all positions have to be ratified and confirmed, and that will happen at the awards dinner tomorrow night here in Auckland. So the New Zealand record, look, 15 minutes 40.41. The qualifying standard is 16 minutes 32. So it just shows how impressive Lauren Boyle was in swimming that 1500 metres.
Well, look, at the end of the day, she was second at the World Championships in this event against Ledecky, who holds the world record. And, you know, albeit that Ledecky was way, way out in front, it was still a magic swim by Lauren Boyle. And a phenomenal athlete.
And remember the aftermath, you know, how people talked about what an outstanding swim that was. And Ledecky is a freak, but Lauren Boyle just got so many plaudits out of that. And she's swum a lot against this woman here, Emma Robinson from the Capital Club, but she trains out of the Queensland area in Australia. She's already qualified for the World Championships in the 800 metres freestyle, and she won the 400 as well here. Another person who's World Championship bound swims in lane 6. That's Charlotte Webby, as a open water swimmer.
Won that 200 fly last night in really quite an impressive fashion.
Yeah. So let's see. We'll get some comment throughout the race from Ian and Lauren, and we'll be watching the times, the splits all the way through. But Monique King, a lot of interest to see how she fares tonight. Monique King, who won this title in the 2016 Open. She was that year third in the 800 and the 400, but she won the 15, and so far this time she's won the bronze medal in the 800 meters freestyle behind Emma Robinson, who swims in lane 5. So it's King in 4 and Robinson, who starts very strongly in lane number 5.
I guess in some respects, Emma Robinson has got a bit of a point to prove. She's qualified for the World Championships in the 800. She won't want to give up this event either, the 1500, because she is a distance swimmer. I just want to refer back to the world record holder. That's Katie Ledecky. It's interesting, you know, you refer to her as a freak. I guess once a person starts absolutely dominating any event or any sport, we kind of use this terminology, are they a freak? Well, a freak prior to that was Janet Evans, who absolutely dominated in the 90s every distance, 200, 400, 800, 1500 freestyle, very much the way Ledecky has done. I just refer to Janet Evans because she's actually coming over to New Zealand in a couple of weeks to attend the World Masters Championship. So it'll be a real honour to see Janet Evans And if you recall back to the 1996 Olympic Games, she actually gave passed on to Muhammad Ali, who went up and lit the flame.
That's right.
She was the second to last person before the flame was lit.
Of course, you were over there as one of the coaches, along with Duncan Lang, of that New Zealand team, which included the fabulous Daniel Loader in 1996. That was a great meet. Certainly enjoyed watching and talking about that. But we're watching and talking about Emma Robinson at the moment in lane 5. Now she goes into this with a 17:06.95. King has a faster time. We just see tactically, and I know Lauren will be talking about this soon, but tactically there's differences here. Robinson quite keen to go out strongly.
Well, I think also she's done the sort of training and the conditioning to be able to go out strongly as well. And she has had an Olympic Games now under her belt, so she's had a bit of experience. So 105.6 over the second 100. She needs to maintain about a 106 on average to break that, well, to break into the World Championships team for this event, the 1500. She's certainly not going to threaten Lauren Boyle's New Zealand record with those sort of splits already. Lauren would have been holding 1.4s by now.
Yeah. But she's looking good.
She certainly is looking good.
And I think this is a benefit, too, of training in Queensland at Gold Coast, where she comes up against daily some quality distance swimmers.
Oh, look, you know, Brisbane and the Gold Coast are notorious for producing distance swimmers and long course 1500, 800-metre freestylers. And we're seeing exactly that with Emma Robinson. You'll notice a two-beat kick. You will see nothing happening out of her legs. So the legs are always, she does one kick on the opposite side to the stroking arm. The only time she'll get a little bit of a kick is when she first comes off the wall, and then it'll drop away. There it is now, dropping into a two-beat kick.
So we see her fading away into the distance, Emma Robinson. And an opportunity now to bring in Ian and Lauren for Lauren's comments about this, and particularly too about maybe the improvements she's seen over the years through Emma Robinson. But Lauren, your comments so far on this particular 1500 metres.
Thanks very much, John. Of course, your good friend Lauren out there, Emma Robinson, leading the way. What does she have to maintain to hit that mark for the World Games?
The 16:32 is an average of 106 per 100, so that's between 32 and 33 seconds per 50.
So let's put us into the mindset what Emma Robinson's going through at the moment. Before the meet started, you told us you personally like to start, well, not slow, but fast and finish faster. Is that what she's trying to achieve?
Yeah, I think a lot of distance swimmers have the idea of going out hard but coming home harder. I like to practice my race pace well before the meet starts all season, really. So the first 500 is almost just going through the motions at that correct pace.
So let's talk about pacing, how you get into that mindset. And I know you do countless hours, but how's Emma doing it out here now?
Well, Emma will hopefully be feeling pretty comfortable in this first 500. She'll be swimming faster than she will be in the rest of the race, but she will have practiced that fatigue tolerance.
Often a lot of us know about drafting too in other sports like cycling or drafting and running. Out here in the swimming lane, Emma's doing it in the middle of the lane by herself. Is there any drafting assistance she can get?
There's no assistance she's going to get tonight. In fact, she may be giving assistance to the swimmers behind her. So if I were her, I would swim in the middle of the lane to make sure that I wasn't pulling anybody ahead.
But then if we go to the World Games where you're neck and neck, for yourself, you personally, can you get assistance drafting?
I've definitely changed sides of the lane before at a World Championship meet just to try and get a little extra rest.
The other insight we'd love to get from you, Lauren, of course, 29 tumble turns out there in the 1500-metre race. What benefit can you get from the turn, and how important are they?
Yeah, executing a turn well can really help you achieve a faster time, up to half a second, a whole second per turn, depending on how good you are.
So we see the girls underwater for long periods of time going into the wall. Talk us through what they're doing in the turn and the power off the wall.
Well, the approach to the turn is very important. You want to get a really strong stroke to flip yourself over fast. And then the underwater is really where you can make your gains, having a really streamlined position and using that underwater area to practice efficiency and almost take a rest.
The other technical question we want, Lauren, of course, is the breathing, and we see Emma Robinson out there. I'd like to know where she is in the race from side to side. Why is she doing that?
So a lot of distance swimmers will breathe every 2 strokes. That's to make sure that they're oxygenating their body properly. But then you want to throw in a stroke to the other side every now and again, not just to take a look around the field, but to also balance the way you're swimming.
Now she's starting to build into the race now. I think we've just gone over 500 metres. Will she be trying to go the next 500 metres quicker, slower, or build? I mean, how will she do that?
I think she'll feel like she's putting in more effort, but we may see a similar time to the previous 500. It will be okay if she slows down slightly, as she hasn't had the dive to start off.
You've watched a lot of swimming this week, and it's a rarity for you because you're normally in the pool leading the mark. You see him and you see the girls out there, Monique King, swimming, and want to be there yourself.
Yeah, it's a hard thing to be watching what I normally do.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely right. And she has produced some stunning swims for New Zealand, and knows probably exactly, as she said, what the plan was for Emma, what's going through her mind. And nice technical assistance for our viewers there. It's nice to be able to show you those underwater shots too, to just reinforce what Lauren was talking about with the work, the technique under the water, the value of the turn, and how it's got to be executed perfectly. Here we go again. Off the wall, bang, good turn.
You'll see what she does off the wall. She streamlines extremely well, and as Lauren indicated, you probably are resting your arms for a fraction of a moment, but you're also squeezing, so it's not a total rest. You're squeezing so that you get the most efficient streamline that you possibly can. But what she does is she goes under the water, then puts a little butterfly kick in, or a whip kick as we refer to it, and then starts to go into the kick, and then she just relaxes the legs again. She's actually swimming really well over she's now completed 750 metres, and I think that she's holding just on 106s, and well, that's what she needs to do. Now you take that first 100 metres, which is a 103, you've got a 3-second buffer already in it, and she's holding the rest of it in 106s. So she's ahead of that white line, the white line indicating the World Championship time that she needs to achieve. So, you know, at this stage in the race, I think Emma is doing a really good job. Now, you'll notice there's quite a sharp angle in her arms under the water. So when she catches the water, and occasionally we'll see that with the camera shots, not so much as she's going away, but I'll make comment about that when she's coming back. And by the sharp angles, what I'm referring to is that because you're doing a 1500, you're needing to keep the stroke rate up, and you don't have the same power as what a 50-metre or 100-metre swimmer. Now, a 50 and 100-metre swimmer underneath the water, it's almost a straight arm because they're applying so much power. No distance swimmer can hold that power for that length of time. So there's a lot of a sharper angle with their arms, and you'll see that more so on the second 50 as she comes back to the start end of the pool. So there you can see just the kick. Once again, she's pushing it hard, and then she'll go into a softer kick. So in this angle here, we'll start to see what I refer to in terms of the sharper angle there. Right now, the elbows are up, but the hand sweeps in. Now, just a sprinter would be, the fingers would be a lot deeper in the water. There wouldn't be that sharp angle. Now, look at the soft legs. She goes through the 2-big kick, bang, there's the whip kick, and then a stronger kick, and now it's relaxing about now.
Very good. So Robinson is breathing to her left all the way down here, staying in the center of the lane, as she said, and as Lauren mentioned, there's no possibility of her getting any assistance because there's no one in front of her, but sometimes you can visibly see a bit of drafting, and possibly over in those lanes 2 and 3 there might be a bit of advantage there being gained by the swimmer in lane 4 and lane 3.
Yeah, actually more than 3 and 4. You've got Hayley McIntosh in lane number 3, who's in second position, and you've got Monique King. Well, it's important for Monique King to move up if she possibly can on McIntosh and get a little bit more of an advantage if she can possibly do so by the drafting. In fact, if anything, King has moved to the wrong side of the lane.
Oh, well, we've got another of our guests here tonight. It's very nice to see one of our most outstanding swimmers, Olympic and Commonwealth game representative, and she is now with, I'm sorry, for a moment I just about lost it. Ian Jones is standing there, all ready to go. Thanks, Ian.
Yep, thanks very much. Well, welcome along poolside again. Hannah McLean, Olympian, of course, backstroke. It's nice to bring you back into the fold. And I know you look around at these new facilities, these swimmers are swimming with a little bit of envy, because it wasn't always like this back in the day.
It was just a fantastic facility, and so special for me to see the new breed of swimmers coming through and to have 13 of them qualifying for the World Champs later this year. It's just fantastic.
Look, there's a lot of depth at the moment, of course, Hannah. You mentioned the 13 going to the World Games, but in your time as well, you had great teammates around you, some of the greats of New Zealand swimming, so you must have loved that time.
Yeah, we did. We were really lucky. We had a brilliant team with the Helen Norfolks and the Alison Fitchers and the Dean Kents and co, and I still catch up with them now, and we see each other when we take our kids to swimming lessons. And we recently swam in the Legends Relay together, so I do feel a bit envious of these swimmers about to line up for their relay.
I know swimming's such a tough sport, and I talked to other ex-swimmers who went through the year that you went through and trained so hard. I didn't think they'd ever steer their kids into the sport of swimming.
Oh, well, I have to see how long it goes. There are definitely other interests for my 6-year-old, but just so important to have that core survival skill of swimming, and she loves it, so we'll just take it as far as she wants to take it.
Hannah, I know we all love the sport of swimming, and it teaches so many life lessons. For you when you were swimming, how have you converted that to maybe what you do today and how you relate with other people?
Well, swimming's just been such a huge part of who I am, and I've been lucky enough to have some incredible experiences through it, and education and career opportunities. So I've been away working and living in London. I've been back in New Zealand for that last 4 years, and I've just started a job recently at High Performance Sport New Zealand, working in the Athlete Life team, so that gives me the opportunity to work with athletes again, which I'm loving.
And you've also had your interaction with a lot of tough coaches over your time. We need to talk about Jan Cameron, who set that era really up for New Zealand swimming, and that was a golden era for us. As a coach, what were your memories of Jan Cameron?
Oh, so many. I mean, she really was an amazing trailblazer in coaching in New Zealand, and she did a huge amount for me. And she really was like a second mother in a lot of ways. So I'm still in touch with her and her son, Scott, and he's now got a family. So, yeah, they're all important people in my life still.
So you look back on this wonderful sport, which is very tough, and all the ups and downs you no doubt had in your career, but you come back and you look back on such fond memories.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's always the rough with the smooth in high performance sport, and I guess there are some uncompleted goals for me, but being able to come back into the sport and help others through their journey is something that means a huge amount to me.
Well, Hannah McLean, it is fantastic to have you and other former Aqua Blacks poolside here watching the new breed come through, and thanks for your time.
Thanks, Ian. Thank you.
Yeah, nice to see Hannah, who was at those Olympics in Athens in 2004, and she's been to World Championships, a short course in Shanghai in 2006, where she won a bronze in the 200 backstroke, and she also won a Commonwealth Games bronze medal. Just see that white line, just it's just like a shark, isn't it? It's like a white pointer behind her.
Yeah, look at it,
keeping it going,
and it's getting closer and closer. She went through the first 500 meters in 5:26, the second 500 meters in 5:32. She just went that last 100 in 1:07. Now she needs to hold on average 1:06 in order to go to the World Championships. She has got time up her sleeve, but it's starting to slip away. So it's important that the crowd starts making a bit of noise and starts getting behind her, because she is on target, but it's going to be touch and go as that white line creeps up. Just referring back to Hannah McLean, gosh, she was a beautiful swimmer in her day, just technically extremely good. Her body position in the water, and you know, just her tenacity whenever she raced. She's very versatile. She was also a great freestyler, but she was a tough athlete, and I just have all admiration for her. You can see that white line. There's 100 meters still to go. Now, it's important that she really knows that she's got to work hard. She just did increase the pace, 1:06.6 over that last 100 that we've seen. So she has increased it a little bit, albeit by 0.4 of a second.
Well, this is where the crowd could help. I'm not sure that they're aware of it. Yes, the crowd can see, so they should be really roaring at her now, encouraging her. She will hear the noise if there's plenty of it. She comes up to the wall with 50 to go, and off the turn, Is she still in front of that line? We'll see it. She's looking for a qualifying time of 16:32.04. Has she got something left for this final 50? She can see this kick has increased.
Yeah, look, she went 33.2 over the last second to last 50, and now she's got the 6-beat kick going. She knows that she's going to be close. So will she do it in both the 800 and the 1500 meters freestyle? It certainly looks that way because she's a full body length in front of that white line.
What a stunning swim this has been. A solo effort from Emma Robinson, and she does it. She does 16:30. She goes under the World Championship qualifying time. She can blow hard, and she deserves to do whatever she likes now. That was a stunner from Emma Robinson. Twice she has bettered World Championship qualifying times here in the 800 and now the 1500.
And what a great result that is for, in lane number 3, Hayley McIntosh from the Northway Club to finish in second. And obviously Monique King just coming in third. That altitude training and the adaptation coming down, as she talked about beforehand, maybe she just hasn't got it right, but she'll learn from that and she'll go back into altitude again.
Mum and Dad, the Robinsons have travelled up here from Wellington. There we are, from the Capital Club. They really support us so strongly, along with a bunch of supporters, such as the Wellington High Performance Group in Wellington, helping with a bit of funding, and it's so hard for swimmers, isn't it? They need a bit of funding, and then when you see it pay off like this, it's not the funding that does it, is it? It's the hard work.
Look, you know, funding is only a part of it, isn't it? It's at the end of the day, it comes down to how much hard work the athlete puts in and the coach puts in with them. But she came back in that last 50 metres with a 31.5, so that was a pretty tough last 50 metres, and that was all about that 6-beat kick, which we saw and identified as well.
And the crowd helped. I'm sure she'll tell Ian Jones that she was aware of it. She couldn't quite look up to the big screen to see the white line, but the crowd was giving it to her. They were helping as much as they could. So 15 minutes ago, she hit the water, or 16 minutes ago, she hit the water, and we saw her technique at the turns, and both you and Lauren talked about the value of that, the work that was being done underneath, how she paced herself, and she had that internal clock working perfectly.
Yeah, she put together an extremely good race. So, as we said, 5:26, 5:32 for the second 500. And yeah, she just held on in that last 500 metres. But the last 100 is what did it in particular, a 31 over the last 50 metres. Look at that. You love it, don't you? Parents, you know, they go through the hard yards. They go through the grumpiness of the athlete as well. And it's so rewarding when they do it.
Those two will be in the team together. Emma Robinson and Charlotte Webby. Charlotte qualifying in the open water swimming, and Emma Robinson in the long distance in the pool, the 800 and 15. She wins it in 16 minutes 30.16. It was a good swim from Hayley McIntosh at 16:51, and Monique King third in 17:01. Well, I don't know if she's able to breathe satisfactorily yet. Oh yes, I think so. Ian?
Yeah, thanks very much. Well, Emma, you've had a few moments to reflect on the race. Congratulations, your second qualifying swim to the World Champs. How do you reflect on it? Are you stoked?
I don't know. I feel like I haven't had that much time to reflect on it at all. It's pretty tough doing a 1500 on your own. Yeah, so I'm just happy I got there in the end.
So when you stood in the blocks, 16 odd minutes ago, what were you thinking? What was your mindset going into the race, and tactically, what did you want to do?
So I just wanted to build the 500s, and then really it was just about hitting 32s the whole way and just getting one after the other each 50. Yeah.
Well, you did exactly that, but you also must have heard the crowd, and Lauren Boyle, our co-commentator, who gave us some great advice right throughout that 1500, was egging you on, keeping on that line, so it must be nice to hear the crowd.
Yeah, I could hear a few whistles going on, so that's always nice, and you know you're close when everyone gets in there, so yeah, it really helps pushing. And just want to say thanks for everyone.
And Mum and Dad, I know they're up in the stands, so thank you, congratulations, and good luck at the World Champs.
Thanks very much.
It's an emotional time.
So, John, those 500s that she referred to, 5:26, 5:32, 5:32. So,
wow.
You know, good effort.
That's fantastic. Well, Now we have our second to last event of these championships. 4x100 medley club relays. 8 teams lining up. The Coast Swimming Club, United, Whanganui, Mr. Hunter, another proud parent here. Whanganui Club, North Shore, Howick, Pakuranga, St Peters, North Shore swimming in lane 7, and Capital in lane 8. Those are the 8 clubs. And of course, there is a champion club that is announced at the end of champion men's and women's club that is announced at the end of the meet. And normally this is dominated by North Shore. You have to wait till all the races have gone through before you determine who is the champion club.
And I'm sure that North Shore actually be hurting after the relay last night in the 4x200, where they lost their title to Whanganui.
Well, Coast will start with Jonathan Selman, the youngster there at 14. They're in lane 1. United have Jack Anderson, Whanganui, William Campbell, Corne Coetzee from North Shore in 4, Corey Main in 5 for Howick, Cameron Stanley for St Peters, Jason Churches, North Shore number 2, and Thomas Watkins for Capital. So this is a 4x100 medley. Backstroke starting. Corey Main, of course, national champion, swimming out of lane 5. Well, this is where the swimmers who are here and the supporters really wind into it, because they love the relays. Backstroke coming up to the first 50. And I see out in the centre, lane 5. That's Corey Main, as you'd expect him to take the lead. Touches first. That's Howick Pakuranga. From Main, North Shore with Corne Coetzee, United. And they have Jack Anderson. Nothing's changed here, except that Main has extended his lead. So Main and Coetzee. So North Shore in second place, Howick Pakuranga going to the wall. The switch over will be Shaquille Vautua for Howick Pakuranga. He won't mess around. Jacob Garrett for North Shore. And third place, that was United. That's Max Kennedy-Till hitting the water for them. So Cole Price is there for Coast. Dan Caldwell for St Peters. Jack Callagher for North Shore B. And Hamish Trillin for Capital.
So 54.6, he went for Corey Main over the first 100. 54.4 in his individual swim when he qualified. So it's still a good start for the Howick Pakuranga Club in this 4x100 medley relay. Shaquille is out in first place for the Howick Pakuranga, but as we've watched him throughout this meet, he's a real drop-dead sprinter.
Yeah.
And he's starting to feel the pinch now from North Shore.
Yeah, at 50, he can beat anyone, or almost. But he's just being overtaken, rolled over by Jacob Garrett. So Garrett will hand over to Wilrick Coetzee. Joshua Asplin for Howick Pakuranga. So Howick in second place now behind North Shore A. And quite a sizable advantage too. Thomas Moot for Whanganui. Jason Smeets for United. Josh McCormick Goethe for Coast. Sam Perry for St Peters. Finn Kennard Campbell for North Shore B. And Lewis Clareburt for Capital.
Well, that was a great 100 breaststroke from Jacob Garrett that's put in a really commanding position for the North Shore Club, with Coetzee now doing the 100 butterfly. He's just such, again, a versatile swimmer in Wilrick Coetzee. Swum a lot of events at these national championships, and he's had good form. Some good results.
Well, North Shore need to have that bit of an edge. Jackson Crop will go in last for them, while in lane 5 for Howick Pakuranga, it's Daniel Hunter. That's a really good advantage, though, for North Shore, and Crop takes off. Long way back, and Hunter goes. Very close for third. United still holding it. George Smith, Zachary Clark for Whanganui. Thomas Raymond for St Peter's, Callum Prince for North Shore Prime, and Devon Forsyth for Capital.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how much Daniel Hunter can come back into this 100 freestyle. He is the New Zealand record holder, got picked in the 100 free tonight, and he got pushed into second position, but he still holds the New Zealand record. It doesn't look as if he's going to put anything into the North Shore team, because they have been very dominant from the backstroke into the breaststroke, breaststroke butterfly.
Jackson Crop, North Shore Swimming Club. They're going to win the title. He anchors them to the wall. Hunter did come at him, but the gap was too much at the changeover. Howick Pakuranga finish in second place. And back here in lane 6, it is St Peter's getting up for third. St Peter's through Thomas Raymond. That was a very good 100 from him. St Peter's picking up third place. Whanganui, I think, maybe fourth, and United.
And to be fair, also Sam Perry from the St Peter's team put them into a good position in the butterfly leg. He was the national champion. He swam that very well over the 100 fly.
So North Shore, their team, led off by Corne Coetzee, Jacob Garrod. They were second at the end of the first swim.
So this is the good form of Jacob Garrod now, that put them into a commanding position at the end of the breaststroke.
And Wilrick Coetzee brought them home very well. Much urging from everyone. Jackson Crop had plenty of an advantage when he took over. It was about 5 seconds, I think, when Daniel Hunter went in. Too much for him to overcome. He did well.
Even with the 49 of Daniel Hunter, it's still not enough, is it?
So North Shore A, Howick Pakuranga, St Peter's in third place. Whanganui United. Then North Shore Capital and Coast, the North Shore B team, in sixth place. Our second to last event of these 2017 championships. So that means the final one will be the equivalent women's race, the 4x100 medley relay for women. And as you look through those faces, you can see they're all smiling, they're happy, some of them happy for various reasons. One of them, for a couple of them there, we could see the fact that they have been included or have qualified for the World Championships. We'll see Helena Gasson fronting up. We'll see Bobby Gishard. Gabriel Farmasili is there as well. And here we see the teams. Coast swimming in lane number 2, led off by Helena Gasson. Jazzy in lane 3, United. Then North Shore, Capital, and Howick Pakuranga. So we've got 3 Olympians leading off here. No, not Olympians. Well, some of them are, but 3 World Championship qualifiers. And Gasson for Coast, Fa'amasili for United, and Gishard for Howick.
Really
Pakuranga.
Interesting here. In lane number 7 from the Howick Pakuranga Club, Bobby Gishard. She won the 100 backstroke. She's just been named in the World Championship medley relay team. So this is going to be pressure on her now to perform. You've got in lane number 4 from the United Swimming Club, Gabrielle Fa'amasili, who leads off the backstroke. Well, she was only narrowly beaten, won the 100 freestyle earlier tonight. So how much can she bounce back as well? Because she'll be thrilled after that 100 free.
Yeah. So you can see that Gishard looks quite relaxed now.
She should be too.
Yeah.
She
So
should
she's
be
down here in lane
just
7.
running on adrenaline.
That's Gishard we see. Sarah O'Connor next to her. Emma Godwin for Omasili. Maikuku for Jazzy. Gasson up at the top. Final event, the women's 4x100 medley. Out making the initial impact is Fa'amasili.
Oh, and also
that's United
Gasson.
in lane 4.
Gasson, an outstanding start in lane number 2. Well, she's not known for her backstroke, but she certainly won the 200, 400 medley. But what an outstanding start Gasson had.
Very good too from Gishard, as you'd imagine, down here at the bottom of your screen. And she may well have the advantage out of lane 7 for Howick Pakuranga. Close, but she does turn first. So it is, Gishard turning first from Fa'amasili. And North Shore, that's Emma Godwin.
Yeah, well, so we see Bobby Gishard. She won the 100 backstroke with a 101.21. What sort of time will she go? But look at Gasson.
Unbelievable. Up at the top, we're talking about everyone that's in lane 2. Helena Gasson, not a noted backstroker, but she's in a relay team. She's fighting for her team. It's going to be close. Will Gishard get there just ahead of her? Gishard does. Fa'amausili, fine finish from her for second. Gasson in third place as they change over. For Howick Pakuranga, it's Hannah Ferguson. For North Shore, Kelsey Bucock. For United, Ali Eastwood. For Coast, it's Sasha McCormick. For Jazzy, it's Lucy Gordon. And Natasha Ray for Capital.
Well, John, that wasn't a fast time, 103.0. You've swum a 101.21 in the individual swim, so she's now going to have to swim this at the World Championships for the New Zealand team. So she's going to have to work on that in terms of swimming for the team, and she needs to go under the 101 at the World Championships. But they're in the lead.
She'll be in a different frame of mind, I'd imagine,
Absolutely.
too. You know.
Look, tonight she didn't expect coming in here that she was even in consideration for the World Championships, and when, in fact, we just witnessed her when she was told, she just burst into tears, and the tears of emotion, of elation.
Yeah. So Ali Eastwood is the second swimmer, the breaststroke swimmer for the team from United. She will hand over to Gina Galloway, who's had a very good competition as well. No one's gone. Oh, my word. What happened there? A breakdown in communications there. Gina Galloway. There's no one on the blocks, and there was no warning.
Oh, let's have a look at Jazzy. They're out in front now in lane number 3. Emily Renaud, I haven't seen that for a long time.
No.
And you just wonder how... I was about to say how well the United Swimming Club have been in the females. They're actually leading the points for females, with North Shore leading the points for males. But boy, she swam a pretty fast 50 metres, though, with how badly she mucked up that start.
Yes.
Galloway, but let's have a look at the Jazzy swimmer, Emily Renaud. She looks good.
Yep. So Renaud, and down on this side, you can see to the left, that's Holly Ancliffe of Howick Pakuranga. But they're in second place, but a very good effort here from Jazzy. Gina Galloway finishing strongly. Her heart will be pumping. Away goes Kaylee Jackson for Jazzy. There's Nikki Chapman for Howick Pakuranga down at the bottom of the pool in lane number 7. So for United now, Maddie Falconer at 15 years of age. She's the anchor swimmer, and United are back in 5th place. Jazzy, comprehensive advantage now. Kaylee Jackson touches and about to turn. Away she goes. Howick Pakaranga's Nikki Chapman.
Oh boy, look at lane number 6 coming in now from the Capital Club, Jessie Ego.
Oh my word, where's she come from?
Sorry, lane 5 it is.
My
And the North Shore, my apologies, Karina Doyle. She's had an outstanding meet, Karina Doyle.
Karina Doyle from North Shore. Karina Doyle. That is fantastic from her anyway, because she wasn't in the frame. She gets up, and North Shore. Emma Godwin, Kelsey Bucock, JC Kropp, and Karina Doyle. North Shore win it. I think Jazzy was second. Up on the board, it's showing Howick Pakuranga as the winners, but that certainly wasn't the case as we've seen it. So North Shore swimming, and
Karina Doyle
we sort of
has
lost
had
that a wee bit because we were so intent on watching what had happened with United. They started so well with Gabrielle Fa'amausili.
So this is Bobby Gishard in lane number 7 for Howick Pakuranga. And then this is the second swimmer for Howick Pakuranga.
That's Ali Eastwood. So she comes into the wall, and they were leading at that stage. United was leading because Fa'amausili and Eastwood had done so well.
But boy,
but then at that changeover, there was no one on the blocks. I can just see the team now. They're still standing there talking about it. And there's a bit of emotion there too, as you can imagine.
Let's go back to the North Shore team, though. They had a fantastic result, and Doyle.
So there's a United team, that Fa'amausili, Eastwood, Galloway, and Falconer. And they're upset, and you could see when the miss was made that they were all looking at each other. But I suppose it's a situation of someone's got to take control at that stage and notice that, hang on, there's no one on the blocks. But that's a lesson to be learned. But they still finished extremely well anyway. And they are United, the team from United.
So here
we see. No one there. No one's gone. She's looking up. No one there yet. No one there yet. Now, jumping on the blocks was Galloway.
Unbelievable. She had to take a gear off as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So a real breakdown in communication there. But an outstanding swim too from the North Shore Swimming Club with Karina Doyle, most impressive, coming home to take North Shore to victory. Now some of the medal ceremonies from earlier tonight. It's Gabriel Farmasili who won that 100 for women, and Matt Stanley for the men. That was a tremendous race. Retaining her title, Brona Ryan in the 50 breaststroke. I've seen some really good swims tonight. We had a visitor from Syria winning the men's 50 metres breaststroke. We're just here while we're going through this. Oh, the World Championship qualifiers. Here we go. So it has changed over the last 24 hours. The women's 50 metres butterfly, Helena Gasson, who's also qualified for the 200 individual medley. Corey Main in the 200 backstroke. Emma Robinson in the 800, and as we'll see later, the 1500 as well. Matthew Stanley in the 200 free. Sam Perry in the 50. And Gabriel Farmasili and Bradley Ashby making up the rest of those qualifiers. And then, well, we also saw tonight Emma Robinson in that 1500. There she goes. Daniel Hunter had previously qualified for the 50, but he's also now going to be a part of that men's 4x100 freestyle relay team, along with Sam Perry, Corey Main, and one other whose name just eludes me. You think of it while I'm talking about it. And then the women's 4x100 medley relay team, they qualified as well, with Farmasili joining the rest of that team. So that'll all be announced and confirmed tomorrow. Really, and we've just heard while I've chatted to you, there was someone's goggles had broken. So that was the reason for the delay in getting up onto the blocks. These things happen, but a lot of good positive stuff has happened here at these National Championships 2017.